Hello, hello, hello. Testing. Right. Hello. Testing. Right. Beautiful. Let's get this show on the road, I guess, guys. 17, 18 people in the lobby. Including myself, and hello and welcome to the start of season 24 of F2. I never thought I'd be saying this, but I'm actually back in the commentary box. If you don't know who I am, I'm Lordy-MK, or Lordy Boy, or Lewis, or whatever you want to call me. There's other inappropriate words I would say, but I'll try and keep it as PG as possible. Hello to everybody in the chat already, and welcome to everybody who will be tuning in to the start of the 2019 second season on this game for PSGL, but the 24th season in total for PSGL. I'm not joined by anybody tonight. It will be the Lordy Boys show, which is what I'm used to and what makes me the most comfortable, the most beneficial for myself. I do love hearing the sound of my own voice constantly on repeat for an hour and a half. It's brilliant, especially when you get the audio right and there's no humming or hissing in the background. We're here for round one in Baku, Azerbaijan, as you can see on the screen. Just waiting for everybody to join. I don't think there is any absentees thus far, but just beforehand, I do apologise if I'm a bit rusty. It's been a couple of months since I've been sacked from the F1 commentary, so if I'm a bit rusty here and there, make sure to point it out and make sure you give me some credit where credit's due as well, because obviously positive feedback makes me want to come back. Even if you don't want me back, just give me some positive feedback anyway. But I will, saying this right now, I will get up the cars and the allocated teams before we start this session as well, because it is obviously round one and we need to see who's who and who's where. Alright, we're going to go in performance order, I suppose, maybe. Pick and choose whether you think a car's higher or lower in performance, it doesn't really matter. But in the Mercedes we have the lovely Tom, also known as Wommer. Accompanying him is Samster F1, also in the Mercedes. Two very, very competitive drivers, especially last season in F2. Wommer was actually a championship contender for half of the season and seemed to lose a bit of motivation at the end of the first season of 2019. So a bit unfortunate for Wommer, but he is back in F2. His choice or not, we'll never know. He did have the pace, obviously no ABS, all assists off apart from Racing Line. I do believe he was one of the quickest in F2 and probably did have the opportunity to enter F1. But he is back again. Hopefully he can perform a bit better. But yep, accompanying him is Samster, another quick driver. Seemed to bottle it a few times last season, but Samster very competitive nonetheless. Moving on, because the time is running out and I do want to get to qualifying. In the Ferrari we have the legendary Rawalpindi Express, Ugi Azim, and accompanying him is Foxy Dude. Not too much to say about Foxy Dude. I don't know him personally, don't really speak to him often or at all really. But Ugi Azim, I have a lot to say. Me and him have a great relationship, if it's not involved in FP, because in FP he seems to kill half the grid. So Ugi Azim can be quick on his day and very good at managing tyre wear, but let's just say Ugi Azim can also go the other way and be horrendous. But I like seeing quick Ugi because Ugi's a sound guy and I get on with him very well. Moving on, CC Brain, Cornelius, my man, the German sausage himself, Cornelius. You gotta love him. I think one of the youngest drivers on the grid, apart from Leroy. I think Leroy is officially the youngest, but Cornelius definitely down there with one of the youth, some of the youth and less experience, even though he has been around in PSGL for quite some time. Accompanying him is the admin of F2, Lucas Greenus, also known as Greeny LFC 123. This man wears his heart on his sleeve, and he does love a good argument, but a lot of love for Luke Green. Let me just sort out these settings. Like I say, it's been a while, and it is can be very rusty at times. Telemetry on. Get this all on. Come on. What you doing? Fitted. Fastest slap. Turn that off. Right. Well, one was first out, so we'll keep on board with him for the time being. Gonna have to hurry up with the driver selections. In the McLaren, we have Cherry 2 Pie and Pimp Matt. Cherry 2 Pie, Cameron Anderson, also a very loving member of the PSGL community. Has had his ups and downs recently, especially with the likes of Big C, a bit of drama floating around in recent weeks, but no, nonetheless a smashing guy. Pimp Matt, nothing to say about him. Hopefully he can provide some good clean racing this season. Leon, my co-commentator for the last season, a brilliant lad, lovely lad. Hopefully he can prove himself, because he did struggle in F3 for the first half of the season. Did pick himself up in the latter half in F3, but now he's in F2, and let's see what he's got. Accompanying him in the Renault is Brett. Like I say, not too much to say about Brett, but we'll move on to the Alfa Romeo. Skeven and Maxi Luca. Don't know, a bit of a hit and miss duo really. Maxi has the motivation of a slug, so we'll see how long he lasts in the league before he decides either to quit or give up. But anyway, he is a quick driver on his day, and we do want to see some clean, good performances from him. Just scrolling through the grid, because I think one has been overtaken by Sam's. No, who's it been overtaken by? We don't know, and we don't care. Hold on. Anyway, moving on. Ollie Flavel is in the Racing Point with Praga, the F2 admin from last season. Also in the Toro Rosso, just gonna get on with this, is Silas. I'm just going to say Silas. Correct me if I'm wrong, pronunciation is not my strong point. And he is being accompanied by Black Phoenix in the Toro Rosso. We also have the Gamer Paco in the Haas with Taze Leroy. Taze Leroy in F4 has moved up the ranks profusely, which is very good for Taze Leroy, and I'm very happy for him. He needs to prove himself though with racecraft. And in the Williams, the last two duo is Josh and Abiodun. So let's see what these guys can do. We're going to get down to the racing now, because I'm sick of staring at this screen. But for the moment, it's looking very, very good. Just need to turn this off. Brilliant, fantastic, amazing. As we see Wommer coming through the castle section, the most difficult section, has to be said, in F1 history. In my opinion, it is so tight. A lapse of concentration or a millimetre out and you are in that barrier. But Wommer seems very cool, calm and collected on his first flying lap of the season. Cuts the corners horrendously, but then again, cutting corners does gain you time. So Wommer, here he is on the super soft compound, which is also known as the soft for this year, and I still haven't got to grips with that, so apologies if I do mention the super soft. I do mean the soft compound, the red marked tyre. But anyway, here he is, the host of the session, the man, the myth. He's not a legend, so he won't go that far. But here he is, Thomas McElhatton across the line. It's obviously pole position because nobody else has set a lap time yet. But Black Phoenix is on his way. I think he's actually being held up by Mercedes as Foxy goes across the line and sets a 1:37.7 for his first flying lap as well. We will stay on board with Black Phoenix as we see times flying in left, right and centre. CC Brain occupies the third position. Taze Leroy goes fourth, and Toxic Tomato, or Tomato, however you say it, goes fifth on the hard compound tyres. But I'm just going to stay on board with Black Phoenix, and there's a Williams as well, I believe, of Samster, who's about to cross the line. Let's see where these guys position themselves. Black Phoenix goes second position, and it wasn't Samster who went... Who was it? I think it was invalid from Samster. Anyway, if we can scroll down the grid, see where Ollie Flavel is. He's all over the place, slithering around like a slug. I'm going to go on board with Cherry 2 Pies. He crosses the line, maybe in an invalid lap from himself. Now on board with Samster and the other Mercedes, looking to prove himself, I think, Samster this season. As you see, Maxi Luca set a banker lap of 1:43.2 down there in P10. Samster next across the line, he bails and goes straight into the pit lane. We're going to cycle through. We've got a Williams, got Brett. Let's see where anybody else is. Nobody really finishing their laps at the moment. We've got Praga on the hard compound tyres, clipping the wall on the outside on these hard compound tyres. As we see, I think Pimp Matt going to P7 with a pretty reasonable lap time, but nobody really close to Wommer apart from Black Phoenix at the moment, so them two showing their pace and class at the moment around this tricky Azerbaijan circuit. As you see, Praga go horrendously wide, so we're just going to go off board. I know he's on an out lap, but I just wanted to see if he can give us a bit of a detour around the track. As we see Cameron Anderson extending track limits, he knows how to do it well, and sometimes it pays off. So Cameron Anderson getting the most out of this McLaren. Let's see where he can position himself. Obviously at the moment he is yet to set a lap as he hops over the curb like a kangaroo in the outback desert. But here he is. Weird analogy from myself. Anyway, it's track limits. Who's heard of them? Not me. But here he comes. Cameron Anderson, the man in the McLaren. He's getting a toe off of his teammate. So toes already in this season. I don't know if Cam's even on a lap because DRS isn't even active. No, he peels off into the pit lane. So his teammate, Pip Matt, actually sacrificing himself for his benefit of his teammate. Skeven does go 8th position on the medium compound tyres. Bloody hell, I forgot how hard it is to keep up with everybody in the commentary booth. As we see Abby Oden in P16, who is on a lap. We're just going to check where Brett is. He's not further on his lap. We will stay on board with Abby Oden because this is his first flying lap. Other drivers are still going around, probably on their out laps, or they're doing multiple laps, so they won't be the quickest. Pardon me, Abby Oden so close to every wall. Definitely rubber shavings peeling off on the streets of the Azerbaijan circuit. As you see him come down into sector 2, just about to finish it. One of the trickiest is a downhill left-hander, really easy to lock the front left brake there. And Abby Oden, I don't know if that was just the stream or the spectator cam, but he did lock the front left, but it looks very scruffy from Abby Oden compared to some of the drivers. I don't think he's exploiting the track limits like some of these top quality drivers are tonight, but we will see where he's going to position himself. He is going to finish the lap, I do believe, if he opens his DRS. Yes, he is, and here he comes. Abby Oden across the line, and he's going to take P number 8. So solid position from Abby Oden. 3/10 of a second separating 1st and 8th. So the grid is heating up. It is only the first lap. First laps around here in Azerbaijan, so we will see what people can do. I think Brett is the next one across the line. Will he complete his lap? Yes, he will. We're going to go on board with the offset T-cam. He's got no deployable errors, but he goes P number 6. And I do apologise, there wasn't 3/10 between 8th and 1st, because he set a 1:38.4, not a 1:37.4, so I do apologise about that. There's 3/10, well, 4/10, 3/10 separating the top 3, so people really do need to up their game. As we see more people exiting the pit lane. I think Luke Green is the next one. Let me just cycle to this man. He's going very slowly, so Luke Green, I don't know if he's opting for the soft compound tyres, but that man looks down and out for the moment. He's going to have to do a lap around, maybe save ERS and go for another lap on them sets of softs. I think he's got end plate damage. Yes, he has. He's got front right end plate damage, so Luke Green, not the man to be looking at. And Toxic, especially not the man to be looking at, because he's still out on a set of hard compound tyres. And we've got 9 minutes left of the session. So that man needs to get in and put a fresh set of boots on and start pumping in some lap times. We're going to go further up the field. Foxy Dude, Wommer, just trying to position, see where they're positioned on the track. We're going to stay on board with Taze Leroy. The F4 Maestro dominated F4, was way too quick for F4. Nobody compete with him, and it's just so nerve-wracking watching drivers go through that section of the track. As we see yellow flags in sector 2, I do believe that's just people moving out of the way. But Taze Leroy making goosebumps on my arms stand up this child or kid or, you know, young adult or whatever you'd like to call this specimen. He's in P7 at the moment, so he's doing a fantastic job. You know, he's 2 tiers, maybe even classed as 3 tiers up from the place he was last season, and he is doing a fantastic job there in P7. Had the privilege of being in his company for the majority of F4 last season, but we're going to see where he can position himself. It is only P6, not too far off pole, but I think he'll be a bit disappointed he couldn't go a bit faster. Lordy-MK just starting a lap. I think Wommer will be the next man around. He's already on P1. Let's see if he can improve. Good old Tom McElhatton. He didn't want to be in F1. He probably didn't have the opportunity to be in F1 considering his poor second half of the season. But Wommer, I think he's saving ERS. Yeah, he's in low, so we're going to go off board with Wommer and go on board with Black Phoenix. Another man to grace his presence in the F4 community for last season. He was very, very quick. And look where he is now. He's 2 seconds off the pace. So I think he saved his ERS for this lap, which I'm a bit confused about because he's already done a lap, hasn't he? No, he hasn't already done a lap. I'm not keeping track very well of some people. But Toro Rosso, who is on a lap at the moment, is Silas. And Silas is 6th at the moment. And I want to see where he positions himself on the grid. This man, don't know much about him. New member to the PSGL community, I do believe. Never seen his name around. But he is coming across the line in about 5 minutes because that's how long it takes to get down this straight. But he's giving it everything. He's got no ERS though. He does put it P5 and a solid lap time at that, but no ERS at the end of the straight is a bit disappointing. Maybe he could have put it even further at the grid if he had any ERS left. We've got Leon, who's currently on a lap as well, and we've also got the gamer Paco just finishing a lap, probably coming into the pit lane. Actually just going to scroll through Ollie Flavel on a set of mediums. Not too fussed about watching him for the time being. Showy 2Pi not on a lap. This man's on a lap though. Samster is currently P20. He hasn't set a lap yet, but he's about to cross the line. DRS activated in hot lap and overtake, and he goes P4 with a solid lap time. Is it 100th or 1000th? 100,000th or whatever you want to call it, ahead of CC Brain, who's put it P5 in the Red Bull. Comments flying in left, right and centre. Obviously I will try and look at the comments as frequently as possible, but for the moment I need to just concentrate on the commentating aspect of things because I haven't been here for a while and getting used to as Maxi Luke is down on his lap, so we will not go on board with him. We will see where Ollie Flavel is going to position himself though on the medium compounds. Currently in P16, not where you want to be around Baku, but he's just about to start a lap. Maxi Luca, I'm not too sure what he's doing at the moment, but there's nobody else out there who's on a lap currently. Samster's just finished his lap as we saw on board. The gamer Paco has ditched his lap for the final run, which will commence in about a minute and a half's time, I do believe, and everybody starts getting their act together and coming out on the out of the pit lane. But just going through, a lot of people on out laps, a lot of people on in laps as well, so it is just hard to cycle through most of these guys. That actually makes it a lot easier, but then I don't like having that screen on the right hand side because it blocks a lot of the view. You know, there's a lot of clutter on my hood at the moment and I don't really want to fill it with that on the side. We'll try and use that instead of cycling through everybody for you guys, so it's a bit more appealing on the eyes. And I think Luke Green, he says that, but I think Luke Green, here he is, he's on a lap, so we'll go on board with the admin himself, Mr. Lucas Greenus, in the Red Bull at the moment. Very heavy on the downshifts. He's got a massive amount of understeer even with these soft compound tyres on. Clips the apex beautifully, finishing off the first sector in style. Let's see if it's quick though. It may look nice, and he is up, but not by much. Only 300ths of a second. Lucas Greenus rocking a very interesting helmet. Don't know who it's inspired by. Maybe a blind nun probably. And oh, he's hit the wall. Oh, at the castle section. Lucas Granus. He's in the... Can't say that word. PG only. See, nearly slipped up there, guys. Nearly slipped up. But he's hit the wall and missed Luke Green. I don't think he'll get another lap because it's a long lap round here. And quite a long pit lane as well. So be careful, Luke. Don't damage your car. Don't crash out. But you're currently P19 and not setting a very good example for the league. Right, let's see if anybody else is out there on a lap. We've got Josh who's out there on a lap, and we've got Skeeve. And Josh is further along with his lap, just finishing off the middle sector. He is 8/10 up on his lap. That will currently put him around about P12. So let's see if he can improve on that, if he can get a second, maybe the top 10 for this man. Josh, not heard a lot about him. He's in the Williams, the toothpaste looking car, Colgate sponsored. Here we go. Not been much of a rocket this season, has it? But he does set a 1:37.7, and like I said, P number 10 for Josh at the moment. We will go on board with Skeeven. He is in the Alfa Romeo, but oh, very understeer. He looks very, very sloppy through the castle section as we see yellow flags in sector 2. Hopefully nobody has damaged their car on their flying laps, and Skeeven looks very, very rusty on this lap. Maybe the nerves are getting the best of him for the opening round of this season, but Skeeven's really, really struggling at the moment. But let's see where it puts him. He's currently P15. It's not too bad of a position. He's ahead of some drivers at the moment, but here he comes. Skeeven around the fastest section of the track. It's twisty, but it's also very, very quick. A lot of G's, I imagine, going through the neck muscles and the back muscles. But anyway, we're not bothered about G's, we're bothered about lap times. And here he comes, Skeeven. He's nowhere near, so I don't even know why I've stayed on board with him. But anyway, the Gamer Paco is also on a lap. And we've also got the likes of CC Brain starting a lap as well, and Black Phoenix. I think the Gamer Paco is the furthest along, so he will stay on board. More yellow flags in sector 2. Hopefully no crashes at the castle section. As we see the likes of... Wait, who... Oh, we've just tapped the wall. Oh, I think that's it for the Gamer Paco. He's ran wide as well. I think end plate damage must have cost him time there. Surely he hit the wall with a bit of a whack. I don't think he does have damage, but lap time's definitely dwindled. We'll check his middle sector, and then we will move on to the next driver just to see where they are. Yeah, he's down by a 10th. I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt though. Actually, I'm going to stay on board with him, and we're going to try and get through rapid fire, as Green LFC has been disqualified from the session from going the wrong way, and will start at the back of the grid. That is just humiliating. The Gamer Packer has given up on his lap. I think CC Brain's further down, but this man is also further down as well. Silas, the man who I probably butchered his name so many times I can't even count anymore. He's ran out of ERS towards the end of the lap, but it's pole position for Silas, a 1:36.9. Fantastic from the man in the Toro Rosso. We will go on board with CC Brain, who I do believe is the next, or is it Taze Leroy? No, it is CC Brain. There is a few others as well, but my eyesight is going. I'm getting old. So anyway, coming down the final sector, we've got CC Brain in the Red Bull. His teammate has had an abysmal qualifying session. The Gamer Paco's also retired. He's had enough. He's in the pit lane. He currently starts top 10, but he won't be very happy with that. I think Praga just moved up to P16, and CC Bales on his lap. Taze Leroy has been demoted, but he's just about to finish his lap as well. Pip Matt into the top 10. Here we go. CC Brain has retired from the session, but Taze Leroy is the man to watch. He's got deployment for days. He didn't even use it all, and he's gone P9. Oh, this man Samster, I think he'll be another top contender to cross the line as well. The turning speeds, very, very, very responsive in that Mercedes. But here he comes now. We're going to go into the broadcast camera to see the lovely Silver Arrow take the stage, take the spotlight. The spotlight is yours, but Wommer's gone pole position. Samster's weaving across the line, and Wommer takes the spotlight with a 1:36.8. I'm sorry I missed that, Wommer. I thought you were going to say P2 because Silas did a fantastic lap time to put himself in the number 2 position. But Wommer proving why he was considered for F1 with a fantastic lap time of 1:36.857. And we've also got Silas in second position with a 1:36.9. Them two standouts, and I think we can add Black Phoenix to that as well. The F4 prodigy who blitzed F4 so quickly he got moved up instantly into the higher leagues, and now proving to us why he deserves a seat in F2, maybe even in F1. Not too sure about the assist that these guys run, but if they're running no ABS and they're setting times like that, then you get them in, slap them into F1, just get them in. But yellow flags all over the session as Abiodun retires from this session, and it's a close qualifying, not as close as I would have liked. I think the top three really were a bracket above everybody else. You know, Wommer taking the show with a fantastic lap time, but Silas and Black Phoenix not too far behind with very, very similar lap times. But then a bit of a drop off to the rest of the guys. You know, Leon, fantastic performance from him. Doubts were looming over his head about whether he'd be able to cope this season in such a competitive grid, but P4 for him, fantastic. We've got P5 Foxy Dude, P6 Samster, CC Brains claims P7 even though he messed up his last lap. Abiodun sneaks a P8, didn't even see that, so apologies to Abiodun. Taze Leroy, fantastic performance for him, top 10, brilliant. And Brett, B-R-A-D, Brett, B-R-E-T. It's not the same, is it? Like, anyway, dyslexia for you. Brett taking the final position in the top 10. And yeah, not a lot to say really, apart from well done to the top three. I think these guys will be the guys to beat for the first race of the season. They look like they've just got a tenth or two in it compared to everybody else, but at the moment it is very, very close. People are going to put money. It's going to give me a chance actually to look at the chat, so let's see what you guys have been commentating. Is that Lordy Boy on the mic? Yes it is, Alfioli. Welcome. Look, the likes of Cablo in the chat, welcome to Cablo. Flying Throne, Abiodun racing and commentating, fantastic. That's what you love to see. I wish my internet could cope with that. We've got Jay in the chat, Skeven in the chat, Cablo in the chat. I've already said Cablo, but let's say him again. Let's say him a third time. Cablo's in the chat. Cablo84, give him a like, give him some love. Ponage Town's in the chat. We've got JPTV with messages being deleted, toxicity in the commentary box already. The likes of Oogie Azim in the chat as well. I believe is missing this race. That's why Toxic Tomato has taken its place. If you didn't hear me say Toxic Tomato at the start when I was reading out the allocations, that is why, because I believe he is a reserve. Who else have we got in the chat? Good old Big C. That man, he's everywhere. Oh, he's like the Illuminati. You don't know a lot about him, you don't know what goes on, but he's there and he's watching you. That man, Big C. Who else we got? We've got a lot of people. I don't even want to read anymore. Jesus. Gaming Alimunda, another man joining us tonight. Welcome, Gaming Alimunda. Sitting in a hotel. Should be asleep, but Oogie Azim wants to stay up and watch the man himself commentate over these lovely people, as I need to actually adjust the hood so I can get all this telemetry on. Look how beautiful it is. Look at all the clutter all over my screen. Can I have any more settings to make it just fill the screen up more? Is there any more settings? No? Is that going to make it any bigger? Position changes. Look, it fills it more. Yes, yes, yes. As we see, everybody in the top 10, obviously starting on the soft compound tyres, because that is what lap time they set. That is what tyres they set their lap time on. I do apologise. And everybody outside the top 10, pardon me, everybody outside the top 10 starting on medium tyres. So alternate strategies for the Baku Grand Prix, which is expected because the medium tyres around here are actually probably the best race tyre. I think the softs do go off very early and the hards are horrendous. It's like dancing on ice if you're David Seaman. If you don't know what I mean, Google David Seaman drops girl on head and cracks her skull, because that was interesting. You know, Mr. Safe Hands, you know, Mr. You know, I've got it, drop somebody, you know. Massive 6'6" frame David Seaman he was, and he drops people on their face. How fantastic. It was a spectacle to watch. Luckily the girl's okay. It was some years ago now, definitely showing my age. But anyway, enough about dancing on ice. It's the Baku Grand Prix. here in Azerbaijan. The beautiful Azerbaijan circuit. It is a gorgeous track. Even if you don't like it, it is just beautiful. But anyway, screw everybody, screw everything. Here we go for the start of the Azerbaijan Grand Prix. We've got yellow flags in Sector 3. But who cares, because there's 3, 4, 5 red lights here at Azerbaijan, and lights out. Away we go. One gets a fantastic start off the line. A bit of wheel spin from Black Phoenix, and no, not Black Phoenix, Silas, and Black Phoenix has pounced into P number 2. There's carnage. There's an Alfa Romeo around. It's Steven, and Leroy's been overtaken into P number 5 as well. As we scroll down the grid just to see where people are, there's position changes everywhere. The game of Paco is moving up as well as somebody else has fallen. Oh, it's Abiodun. Oh, there's carnage everywhere at Baku. There's carbon fibre everywhere. Taste Leroy's got penalty. Severe collision with Abiodun, as Toxic Tomatoes also losing position as Wommer goes to P number 3 after a bit of a spin, as we see Skeven, Abiodun and Taze Leroy all at the back of the grid. They've all got no wing, and oh my days, it's all over before it's even started. Wommer was leading the race but has slipped back to P number 3. So I am not too sure what's happening there. We're just going to change it from tyres to position changes just to see where people have moved. Obviously we'll stay on board with Wommer for the time being, just to see if there's any more battles. I'll have a flick through just after the first lap. I just want this grid to spread out before my lungs collapse. But you know, position changes to the likes of Wommer, who's down 2 positions. Back Phoenix, a fantastic start. The F4 prodigy, or one of them anyway, and he's already up into P number 1, showing his dominance already. Wommer's nearly a second behind P number 3, so not replicating his qualifying performance is Wommer at the moment. We're just going to scroll down the grid because we've got close battles between Pitman and Praga, I think. Oh, we got Williams all over the back of the game of Paco though. Here he comes, Josh. Has he got the straight line speed? They've all got ERS, so there's no excuse in that department. But here we go. It's not neck and neck quite yet, as Black Phoenix takes the fastest lap of the race on lap number 1, so it doesn't really matter. But here we go anyway. Is he going to go around the outside? Go on, Josh. Oh, his brakes are heated. Oh, Paco's pushed him wide, and that's going to allow the likes of Pitmat and I believe Praga to have a bit of a bite at the cherry as well. Praga hopping over the curbs, aggressive or not. That's a fantastic defence from the game of Paco to basically force Josh basically into the barrier. But no damage, no harm done apart from a position loss for Josh. Bit of a mouthful there. As we're just scanning through the field as well. I think this is the juiciest and closest battle we've got. We will stay on board with Josh as he nearly clatters into the back of Pitmat. A lot of these new drivers are showing some class in F2 at the moment, as we see Wommer is catching the back of Silas in second position. That is definitely a corner cut for you, Josh, because I know, because I've done that many a times at that corner. But be careful, the castle section, and oh my god, my balls are in my mouth as Josh decides to just slice every curve as he possibly can. If that's how you play the game, that's how you play the game. It's probably the most effective, so power to you, I guess. But Toxic Tomato on the medium compound tyres. We will go back to the tyres actually just to see what people are running on, if I can get me hood right. As we see Toxic Tomato in place of Ugi Azim, the reserve, doing a solid job in P13. Is oh, Jerry 2 pies out. Can we see him on the map? No, but he's out of the race. That man was in F1 last season and he's out. Oh, Toxic Tomato anyway. Black Phoenix setting fastest lap, blitzing it ahead of everybody else. But here he goes, Toxic Tomato. The straight is so long, there's no DRS active at the moment until this lap, as you've seen at the bottom of the screen, but he's going to go for it anyway. Go on, son. Oh, good driving from Praga that is to maintain that position there. Gave him plenty of room and also gave himself the benefit of the doubt with traction as Josh clatters the wall, and also Praga grinds all over it like a stripper on a pole. All over that Baku wall. Give me some more. Lovely. As we see the likes of the game of Paco under pressure again from Pitmat as CC Brain. There's a three-way battle. Foxy Dude, CC Brain and Brett all over each other like a rash, as Brett has to concede the position because he has less traction than CC Brain. CC Brain is getting mullered at the moment. He's between well, it's all the primary colours, isn't it? Blue, red and yellow all clumped together. I don't know what you make if you get blue, red and yellow. Some orangey purple mess, I imagine, and it has been a bit of a messy start from these guys. And oh, I can't watch people go through the castle. I feel a bit sick. As Brett is all over the place. I think he's overheated his rears immensely. We're just going to see how far Paco is behind. Not too far behind is the game of Paco, staying with these guys. You know, solid positions, P5. Especially at the first, P6 a solid position is at the first race of the season. But Foxy Dude holding it for the moment, has a lot to do to redeem himself, as we see Luke Green and Toxic Tomato. There must be an issue. Has there been an issue for Toxic Tomato? Oh yes. Oh, Ollie Flavel's out as well. What's kicking off here? Ollie Flavel's at the wall. Toxic Tomato's got half a front wing, and Lucas Greenus, after being DSQ'd in qualifying, is in P13. As we see a change in the podium positions for P2 and 3. Too busy faffing about with Luke Green to miss that. So, dude, apologies, one. It probably was a really good overtake down into turn 1. Can Silas mount a comeback? I doubt it. But we're going to see anyway. Oh, he's giving it some, isn't he? He's putting it in overtake. He's going to go for it. Go on, son. No, he's smarter than that, and he's come out of it. Next is CC Brain on Foxy Dude. Foxy Dude defends heavily. It's going to compromise his exit going into the sweeping right-hander. Ollie Flavel's had enough. He wants to go have a shit shave and a shampoo, and Foxy Dude makes a mistake, and oh, look at that. Brett's passed him as well. So one mistake costs you around here, and Foxy Dude has been demoted to P number 8. And look at this man here, the gamer Paco, criticised for his poor performances last season. He is the highest running medium runner in this race, and he's currently in the top 10. So doing a fantastic job, nearly up the commentator's curse as he slams into the castle wall. But nonetheless, doing a fantastic job, and Paco, keep it on the track, mate. I'm rooting for you, so don't mess it up. Alright, doing a brilliant job there in P number 9. But this man right behind him, Pit Matt, does look the faster of the two drivers. Look how late he brakes. Oh, but he's nearly lost the back end. Let's see if Josh can pounce on that. I don't think he will, but he will be in DRS range. Look at this DRS train. It's beautiful going all the way down the grid. That's what I want to see. Clumps of cars together, like they're humping each other throughout the entire grid. It's brilliant. I don't even know who to go on board with. Do we go on board with Josh? He's the closest out of everybody in this train. I think Josh is the best bet to go on board with. As Praga slipped behind, we've got yellow flags in sector 2. Foxy Dude has pitted. He's had enough of them soft compound tyres, and I think wants to get rid of them. So a smart strategy for him. He has gone to the hard compounds according to the indicator. We will check above. I think Silas is going to mount a charge on Wommer. No, he's just saving his ERS for the moment because he hasn't got a lot. Wommer does have the advantage when it comes to ERS percentages, as we see Maxi Luca making a move on Luke Green. I'm not going to stay on board with that though, as Taze Leroy has called it a day, which rightly so, I think. 2 penalties, a poor performance, not very good. But a safety car. We have a safety car in Baku. Okay. This changes everything. Can the mediums go to the end? I mean, when people pit, not the people currently on the medium compounds, obviously they'd be disqualified. Can the mediums go to the end from this point? The soft compound runners must be loving this because they've just been saved by the safety car. Worn tyres or not, if you've pitted beforehand, you have made a big boo-boo, and Foxy Dude, my heart goes out to that man right there. He pitted a lap before the safety car, but sometimes luck's not on your side, and sometimes the game just gives you the good old shaft. And obviously Foxy Dude's been given the good old shaft, unfortunately. As we see safety car flags all over the track, everybody's going about 1 mile an hour. But what it does mean for me is I can have a rest, because I've been working out all day and I've been to work and I'm really tired and I really want to go to bed, but I've got F2 to commentate. I've committed myself to this league and I want to see the likes of Wommer just glaze through the track as Skeven picks up a drive-through penalty for speeding under the safety car. As people are in the pits, I'm not going to go on board with who's pitting. It's going to be obvious who's going to be pitting, and they're all putting on hards by the looks of it. We're going to go on board with the game of Paco. He's going to come into the pits as well. But are the Haas ready for him? Yes, the Haas team is ready for him. The Renaults, Leroy's up there. Oh god, it's an absolute frenzy. Oh, the Williams aren't ready though. And look at that, Josh is going down. Baby, are you down? Josh is. because he's down in P11. Silas is down in P10. So everybody now is on the hard compound tyres, and Silas, who was in P3, is now P10 because he's had to double stack for Black Phoenix. So Black Phoenix being the thorn in Silas's side after a fantastic performance in qualifying and a great juicy battle he's been having with Wommer, he's now down in P number 10. So unfortunate for Silas there. Obviously, like I said, the safety car can either help you or hinder you. And for the likes of, you know, Foxy Dude, he's actually in P number 4. So it's actually worked out quite well for Foxy Dude. I thought he wouldn't gain the time back, but he's on the hard compound tyres with a lap over the other guys, but that doesn't matter. That doesn't matter at all. So Foxy Dude's actually in a brilliant position. And Leroy, that doesn't say Leroy, that's just Leon. Leon, in the Renault, is P number 3. So fantastic from Leon. Can't ask for much more, really. We're just going to check position changes because we know what tyres everybody's on. They're all on hards. Just have a quick last look. Abby Oden, Stevens left the session. Probably going to increase the duration of the safety car, which helps me out. But everybody is on hard compound tyres. Brilliant. Right. Let's see the position changes then. As we see Silas, the biggest loser out of everybody. Look at that. He's been absolutely shafted. Down in P number 10 from P3, P2 during the race. We've got Black Phoenix still leading the way. Wommer has crept back up into second position. Leroy has made up places, doing brilliantly. This man as well, he's been the dark horse when it comes to it. CC Brain, let's just check his tyres. He is on the hards, surely. Yeah, he is on the hards. But, so a bit of a graphical glitch there. CC Brain is on the hards, so don't worry, everybody is on the hards right now. Samster and the game of Hacko exchanging positions, not too sure why, but this man here, Pip Matt, he was behind Foxy Dude for a while, and then Foxy Dude made a mistake, and then I thought to myself, Pip Matt's got a bit of pace here. Pip Matt can make up a few positions, and then Foxy Dude made the mistake, and then he had CC Brown ahead of him. He's still got CC Brown ahead of him, but I think Pip Matt, oh, if I can say his name right, come on, Pip Matt is the man to look out for. He has been the dark horse, so to speak, in this session, in my opinion anyway. I've just been keeping my eye on him because he has been making up places. As Samster is now in P6, and I don't know, what is Samster doing? So he's overtaken and letting people back past, and I don't understand. I don't know if the admins want to look at this. I don't know if directors want to look at this. A bit silly from Samster. Keep going back and forth up the grid. It's not great to watch. But anyway, carrying on with Pit Matt. The dark horse, he's got a glimmer in his eye under that helmet. I can see it. It's like a prime Felipe Massa before the accident. You know, you just saw that spark. You saw that fantastic man underneath the cup. Apart from Silverstone in the wet, we won't talk about that because he spun the most out of anybody. But we won't go into that anyway. Poor old Felipe. Where is he now? Formula Electric. That's what I want to commentate on. Get a Formula Electric game because I want to hear no noise, and I want to have cars that are slower than Minan's Hover go around the track. That's what I want to see. But anyway, bun Minan's Hoover, bun Minan's Zimmer frame, bun all that. Pit Matt. I'm going to say it now. I know we've already started the race and it's probably not the best time to say it, but I'm going to put him for a podium position. I just don't. I've got a feeling. I've got a feeling. I'm not going to quote any songs because I need to stop showing my age and be a bit more youthful. But yeah, Pit Matt, man to watch out for. And the safety car's still going. So, I don't know what's happened. I think Taze Leroy caused the safety car, whether he binned it off purpose or what is an absolute mystery. But yeah, we don't need to know tyres. Safety car in this lap, actually. So, obviously, we've passed the start-finish line. This will be the final lap of the safety car. Then we'll be back up to racing speed, and we'll be on board with this man throughout the entire race. I think we'll try and highlight Black Phoenix a bit more because he has been the fastest man on track, setting fastest lap after fastest lap on the softer compound tyres. Pardon me. And also, He has kept Wommer at bay, not really been challenged, and also kept his teammate at bay, and not his fault necessarily, but obviously shafted his teammate in the safety car, period, so a bit unfortunate for him. Silas down in P number 10 at the moment. But we will check tyres again, because I do believe Abiodun, no, not Abiodun, Luke Green. So, this man right here, the admin of the league, the man who got disqualified from the first qualifying session of the season, the man who runs things around here, is sitting on the medium compounds. Is this a masterclass from Luke Green? We'll wait and see. I don't have the data. I don't have a clue. I'm just a pleb. But this man could have done an absolute masterclass. The medium compounds are going to have so much more grip. They've got good longevity around here. Can they make it 18, 17 laps? You know, roughly around abouts there. Don't know. The softs do burn out very quickly, but obviously these mediums, I don't know, they're going to wear out towards the end of the race, but the hards are going to be horrendous on the restart. So hopefully Luke Green can make up the positions and make this strategy work and at least get a top 10 finish, because he is currently in P14, which is where you don't want to be sitting on a fresh set of a softer compound than everybody else in the entire field. But anyway, checking everybody else, they are on hard compound tyres. We are going to go to position changes because there's no other data. We know what tyres they're on, we know what stops they've made. Well, if you don't, there you go, 3, 2, 1 stops have been made under the safety car. So we're going to put it on position change. Alright, let me breathe a bit as we go on board with, we'll go on board with Wommer from the start for the restart. Quick, let me have a sip of water as Black Phoenix backs everybody up for a hectic restart, hopefully, as Luke Green picks up a time penalty. Ugh. I've had a sip of water, but we are back racing here in Baku. And as we see, oh, Pip Matt, I said he would be the dark horse, didn't I? And here he comes, he's already challenging CC Brain. But not just that, Samster's coming out of here. The double toe Pip Matt to the inside, but then CC Brain covers it up. He's always going back on the racing line. Oh, Samster round the outside of both of them. Can he pull it off? No, he can't. Pip Matt's all over the place. He's going to go up the inside of Samster, going into turn number 2. And he does maintain his position, but CC Brain nearly causing carnage down there in P number 6. We're going to maintain this battle at the moment. We do see all the drivers obviously making positions, but Pit Matt and Samster are doing a brilliant job of... Oh, his Pit Matt's been hit! Oh, he's kept out of the barrier. Samster, clumsy from him. Really, really clumsy from Samster. He was dodgy under the safety car, and now he's hit the back of Pit Matt. Hopefully no damage for Pit Matt. Don't know if Samster's got end plate damage, but holy hell. Cars everywhere on the restart. We don't see anybody making positions up in the top half of the field. The top 5 staying where they are. Pit Matt probably knocked his confidence a bit there. He has dropped off the back of CC Brain, as you would. We're just going to cycle down the field as we see Gamer Paco revving that engine beautifully. You know, the Ferrari engine, as Brett goes horrendously wide for the upteenth time into that section. He's trying to maintain with the guys who are the closest at the moment. This man right here. Oh, Brett right on the back of Gamer Paco. Will Silas make a move on Brett? No, he's a very reserved driver, this man. But you can see Brett's making mistakes. You can see Brett's going wide, and he's going to pounce down the straight. He's the closest man on track at the moment. It is for P number 9, so not the most prestigious of positions, but he has been at least in the top 3 quickest drivers at this weekend. Well, say weekend, it's a Monday, but at this track. Obviously, he hasn't got the pace down the straights, so that's a bit underwhelming from Silas there. We're just going to scroll up the field as we see Samster. Whew. He's like a dog on a lead. Like, he just hugs to your leg. Like, he's all over the gearbox of Pit Matt. But Pit Matt's really good at getting the traction and the exit out of these corners. He's really making that McLaren chassis work and them tyres work for him, extracting all the grip and the potential out of these tyres before eventually they just go off, I imagine, at the end of the race. Obviously, Lucas Greenus on the softer of the compounds is 0.2 of a second behind Toxic Tomato, or Tomato, or Potato, whatever you want to say. But he's not making progress on the softer compounds, and that is crucial for his race, because his tyres are going to get so much worse in dirty air around a track like this. It's going to be horrendous. for Luke Green, but let's see if he can make some progress. As we see Maxi Luke on Josh. I think Josh has made a mistake. I don't know, but he's battling with Toxic Tomato. You can't go two into the castle. Oh, Toxic Tomato! He's lost his wings. Oh, end plates all over the place. That Ferrari chassis decorating the Baku circuit like a glittering Christmas tree as he goes through the castle section. It's brilliant to see. I want to see more carbon fibre everywhere. And the game of Baku's also all over the back of Samster right now. So I think Samster's made a mistake. And oh, here he comes down the inside. Contact between the two drivers. And oh, Brett's going to have a go. It's a three-way battle. We're going to have a look. It's going to be three abreast through the fast left, right. Oh, Silas is getting involved as well. Oh, it's carnage. Samster's nearly in the wall. Oh, Maxi Luca's out. Maxi Luca's dead. Maxi Luca, it's all over. Braga's nearly in the wall. Oh my days. Black Phoenix is set fastest lap of the race. Luke Green's up to P11. People pitting all over the place. We've got Samster, Praga in the pit lane. We've also got Abiodun attacking Luke Green into turn number 1. Luke Green chopped him off and Abiodun's round. Oh, it's abysmal from the entire grid. Abiodun's in reverse. Luke Green's got penalties. Josh has got penalties. The F2 grid has fallen to pieces at the safety car restart. And here we go. Silas is also making a move on Brett into turn number 3 or turn number 4. I've lost track and count at this point. Brett's going to hold it. Oh, he's nearly rammed Silas into the wall. But fair driving between these guys at the moment. We're going to have to put on tyres. People are all over the place here in F2. There's yellow flags in sector 1. I think Abiodun's still round. We're going to stay on board with these guys because it's a mighty tussle for the moment. I can't even catch my breath. It's fantastic. This is what I've come to see on a Monday night. Carnage, absolute carnage at the moment from these guys. It's brilliant. And obviously Brett currently holding on to P number 7 at the moment, doing a fantastic job in the Renault. And Silas still looking very, very mighty out there in P number 8. He's also going to be challenging. We're just going to have a look at Praga as well. See, he looks very feisty. Luke Green looks like he's struggling. Oh, he's actually let Praga go. But is that tactical from Luke Green? I think he's got end plate damage. Yeah, the tactic didn't pay off for that man. He's got end plate damage. We're going to go off board with him. Is the game of Paco pitting, or is Praga going to have a bite at the big fat cherry down the straight? Yeah, the game of Paco's in. So not a lot to say on that regard. We're going to continue with these two. It may only be for P7, but it's been a glorified as the game of Paco retires from the race in P9 or P10 or roughly roundabouts there. He's retired from, and that is just horrendous. You don't want to see that. Lack of commitment. You know, finish the race. I know there's a long way to go, but no, at least finish the race, guys. It's the first race of the season. You've got to have the enthusiasm, the adrenaline for a race like this. You know, Abiodun's 35.5 seconds off the lead, but he's carrying on because he's a good sport, even though he did get chopped off in turn 1. Anyway, we're past that now. Silas has finally got some clean air. As you see yellow flags in sector 1. Who is round? I don't know, but oof, Josh is at the wall again. I think Luke Green's come out on a set of hards. Very interesting. Josh, I think, has bang on about Abiodun, and then he leaves. A virtual safety. A virtual safety car. Right. Whew. So there are your tyres. That's what's happening. It's only a virtual safety car, so there will not be any position changes. There will not be any other pit stops, I believe. I don't think people will gain too much out of doing a pit stop right now. We will see where the front runners are on track. I don't think anybody will be pitting because it will be a massive gamble. Maybe some people want to go for the gamble. I wouldn't blame them, but it's not the fastest pit lane in the world. Right. It's a good chance to save us. It's a good chance to get your head back in the game. And it's a really, really good chance to refocus yourself. You know, chakras, meditation, auras, aromas, everything. Get it all in balance for the restart of the Azerbaijan Grand Prix. Obviously, I'm not too sure when the green flags will be waved. We'll probably see people go in immensely quick, as the green flags appear to have come out in the most donkeys of spots. They're out on tracks as Leon tries to close down Wommer for P number 2 as Black Phoenix looks like he is running away with it as Toxic Tomato and Samster are battling down the straight. No, I do apologise, Samster has actually pitted. That's why Toxic Tomato's moved into the top 10 places. Josh picks up another time penalty. I will not go for the race director during the race. I think it's better for the audience if you see it as they cross the line. I think it spoils the race a bit if you know the penalties before obviously the outcome happens, because you want to see racing, you don't want to see penalties. But yeah, we've got Toxic Tomatoes 24 seconds off the pace, so we will move on for the sake of you guys and for the sake of my sanity as well, because I do not want to see that. I will go on board with this man, however. Foxy Dude, I think I've said this before during the stream, he has been under a bit of criticism, under a bit of pressure to perform. You know, heavy clouds weighing upon his shoulders, doubts, rumours. Where will he be next season? I don't know where his ears will be next season, because I think that's how long it's going to take for him to get any back, because he's on 9% and we've just had a VSC. But anyway, he has had his doubters, he has had his haters, but he is putting in a fantastic performance at the moment. I've got to credit him on the job that he's doing right now. You know, in P number 4, we are going to switch actually just to position changes, just so I can get a good idea what's happened. But yeah, P number 4 for a man who has had them, dark clouds over his head for the remainder of the previous season, and it's good to see a man like him, a fair driver most of the time and a clean driver most of the time. It's nice to see him come back into a bit of form, and it's nice to see him be re-energised and revitalised in a very technical track, Baku. It is a driver's track. Obviously it's very pad favoured, I've been told, so a lot of these people in these leagues are wheel users. A lot of people do have the expensive wheels. I won't go into the price of the wheels, it is ridiculous, but a lot of people have wheels, especially on this grid, and it's nice to see them really giving their all around a track like Baku. Very technical, very difficult, a lot of high speed, and then a lot of high speed corners, especially in the last sector, but then it's also got a lot of low speed tricky downhill braking zones as well. And also you've got the castle section, which is the most trickiest, yeah, great English there, is the trickiest part of any F1 circuit, apart from Bahrain turn 10-9, just before the second DRS. So I think that's the hardest corner, I'd say, especially for ABS users, for non-ABS users I should say. But anyway, we've had enough of me ranting. We're gonna go on board with Leon. He's the closest man to a car on track, and we haven't really given him a lot of the spotlight for this race, so I think I'm going to dedicate a few laps, a few minutes if no action happens, to this man. He's the only person in DRS range, and the DRS is paying off. It just took 3/10 out of Wommer, 4/10 out of Wommer down one straight, and he's not even using a lot of hers really. He's got a good stash and a good supply of ERS, whatever you want to call it, in the bank. So is Leon playing a tactical game? Is he playing it strategically? Does he want to pounce on Wommer like a Lewis Hamilton at the end of the race, or like a Marc Marquez in MotoGP? Just toys with his prey a bit, messes about, gives them hope, gives them confidence, but then shatters it on the last lap when he does an absolute ballsy move out of nowhere and just completely destroys the rest of the competition. Obviously destroying the rest of the competition has to go to Black Phoenix. For the time being, we've still got 11 laps remaining, but Black Phoenix has been, utterly sublime this race. Wommer's been second best. Well, for the time being, he's been second best. Maybe that might change at the end of the race. Leon is looking very feisty, struggling a bit in the middle sector though, and he has broken the DRS. Wommer, I do believe it. I think the detection point is very early though. So will Leon be able to get it back? No. So Wommer has broken the DRS, which is critical to Leon's race, as we're going to go on board with Praga, as he's all over the back of Brett. What is that camera angle? Oh, rubbish game. But anyway, he hasn't got DRS, but now he's got DRS as he puts it into hot lap, and as we're going to go on board with Brett as he does pit. So a lot of these people really, I'm not sure why you'd pit again, if it's wing damage or whatever, but People not opting for these hard compound tyres to the end of the race, people struggling. But anyway, Praga up into P8. Fantastic from him. He has gained a lot of positions in this race, and credit where credit's due really for Praga. There's a good handful of points if he maintains this position. Pardon me. For anybody else who is still watching F2, I don't want to, detract viewers away from the F2 stream. I am trying my best to keep it as entertaining as possible. We've seen thrills and we've seen spills and we've seen Pit Matt just plough it into the castle wall while I'm talking about action. This man was the dark horse. This man was one of the Pit Matt. My heart goes out to Pit Matt. CC Brains picked up a 5-second penalty for extending track limits, but Pit Matt, poor old Pit Matt, he's hit the wall at the castle section, and that is his race over. Let's hope he can get it back to the pit lane in one piece. We will go on board with him because it is quite funny to watch an F1 car struggle around an F1 track with no front wing. But Pit Matt, poor old Pit Matt, hopefully he can maintain any points. I don't think he will because he's lost it at the castle section. It's a long way back to the pit lane and he's lost heaps of time. But my heart goes out to him. A bit of action. So thank you for that, Pit Matt. You are famous at the moment for binning it in the castle section. But anyway, not to distract you away from the F2 stream as I gasp for air, but the F1 stream is starting right now to see the pinnacle of PSGL perform on a Monday night at 8 o'clock. Not too sure who's commentating. I think it's Owen who's commentating on F1 this season. So if you do want to go and watch Owen and his fantastic commentary, then feel free. We do overlap. Sort of last 15-20 minutes does overlap between the two. Obviously qualifying should end when the race ends here, so if you want to stay here for the rest of the action, that's absolutely fine. But if you do want to go watch F1 qualifying, tune into the PSGL channel. It's on the same channel as this, and Owen will be looking after you, I guess, or trying to look after you. Anyway, my favourite word. Anyway, back to the action here in F2. We've got the likes of Josh and Brett battling for the likes of 8th position. Not the most thrilling of positions. Obviously, I want to see the top 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 people battling it out for the pinnacle of points around here. But it's always nice to see some drivers who have struggled this race, especially Josh. I've seen him in the wall. I've seen him going wide a couple of places, and I've seen him really struggle to grasp the concept of the Baku race circuit here tonight. But he's picked up the pieces. He may have got fortunate with the safety car. Josh, I know it's commentator's curse and it happened to Pit Matt. Please don't do the same as him. As we see yellow flags in sector 2, we're going to see what's happened. Toxic Tomato, he's going very slowly. He's damaged his wing again. So Ugi Azim's placement, as we see Leon and Wommer exchange positions going down the straight. Completely oblivious to that, because obviously Toxic Tomato has taken my attention away with a silly error again at the castle section. That man's had more wings than I've had holidays this year, so well done to Toxic Tomato. The award of most expensive driver goes to Toxic Tomato, because the parts that Ferrari are going to have to fork out, not like they're short of cash obviously, but the front wing parts they're going to have to fork out are going to cost them a fortune. Anyway, Leon hasn't done it as late as I thought. I thought Leon would do it a bit later, maybe to give Wommer a bit of a confidence boost, just to knock him down again. But Leon wants to get it done early. He feels like he's got the pace, and unfortunately I've actually missed the move between these two guys, and Toxic Tomato does retire from the race, hopefully in the pit lane. It does say sector 3, so I do hope it is in the pit lane, and I hope it doesn't cause a safety car, because I don't want to be involved in this race if there isn't much action. Down the straight though, here comes Wommer. He hasn't got a lot of ERS. Let's just check. Oh, Leon hasn't got a lot of ERS either. They're both going hammer and tongs, tooth and nail, chalk and cheese. I don't know, any analogy you want, any comparison you want. They're really giving it their all, especially down the straights. But Leon set up that Renault beautifully for the likes of the Baku straights. I know he struggles in the middle sector, but he's kept his cool and he's kept his calm, and he's really performing here tonight. for the likes of Alain Prost sat in the Renault garage, you know, a 4-time F1 world champion, as Maxi Luca leaves the session after being completely destroyed earlier in the race due to some chaotic driving from other drivers. But as I was saying, Alain Prost, a 4-time world champion, as many of you may know as F1 fans, and he will be looking down on Leon and looking at a most calculated, the professor he was nicknamed, and Leon has been the professor this race. He's not necessarily been the quickest driver, but he's performed to his maximum ability around here at the most part in slides going into the castle section. He did worry me there because the commentator's curse nearly came out to play. But Leon has been a force to be reckoned with at this race. Don't count Wommer out there. This man's a race winner. This man's a championship title contender. And this man was tipped to be in... Oh no. And this man was tipped to be in F1 for the following season if it wasn't for his poor performances in the latter stages of F2. But he's come back with a beaming hope of confidence, and here he is now. He will not know that Leon has a 5-second penalty. I will not know that Wommer has any penalties. I haven't seen him in the penalty feed, but I hope Wommer does have a penalty, just to make it that bit more interesting, as we see him with no ERS active actually gaining on the straights to Leon, trying to conserve the ERS. I believe both drivers are. Leon's got 8% ERS and Wommer's got 30, so Wommer, if he gets a decent enough exit, but Leon's got it perfect, didn't clip the curbs, took the amount of track limits he needed to get a lovely burst of speed going down the straight. But Wommer is cool, calm and calculated at this moment. Bit hesitant on the gear shifts there going into turn number 3, but he's really eyeballing the Renault at the moment. And I do want to see a close battle between these guys. Also, I want to see... Oh, that's 8.5. Sorry, I thought that said 0.4, but it was actually 8.4. So we will go back on board with these two. Excuse me. My mouth and throat's going a bit... Oh! Oh! Catastrophe! Oh no! Tom McElhatton has binned it in the barrier. I'm so sorry for the voice breaking, the utter carnage, but oh my god, Wommer's binned it. The Mercedes driver had a podium in sight, a garage. Oh, and there's another car off as well. There's a Red Bull in the wall. It's Luke Green's out in the middle sector. Wommer's down to P4. Foxy Dude is promoted to a podium position. Leon might get away with the penalty. He can't let up now because Foxy Dude is within 5 seconds. But Wommer, what have you done? It's easily done going into the castle section, as we're going to watch CC Brain breeze past the Mercedes driver. But with 5 laps remaining, Wommer has binned it at the castle section. Disappointment for the Northern Irishman. He is going to be fuming with himself. I did say on the same lap he was hesitant going into some of the gear shifts. He looked a bit shaky, maybe a bit flustered, but Leon has done an absolute masterclass and put him off. I can't believe the scenes here at Baku. We've had so many drivers retire. We've got half the grid either in the wall or out of this race roughly. And it's the first race of the season. I know Baku's a technical track, but for some of the highest pedigree of drivers, it's a bit of a disappointing show. And Tom, unfortunately for him, has to bow out of a podium position because of a lapse of concentration. He's driven superbly for the entire race, but you've got to do it superbly for 26 straight laps, and Wommer couldn't do it. And unfortunately for him, he's going to have to settle for a mid-table points finish, as Foxy Dude nearly replicates the same incident as Wommer as these tyres melt down to their core for the last couple of laps of the race. And we're actually going to see Foxy Dude catch Leon in the latter stages of this race. Whether he can pull the gap, I'm not too sure. Samster sets the fastest lap of the race. Irrelevant, because he's miles off the pace and he's miles off the guy ahead of him anyway, so I don't think any points will go to Samster. Maybe trying to take the fastest lap point away from somebody. It's always a good shout. Thinking very tactically. Hold on, Samster. Whether it will pay off, because Wommer has just fitted a set of softs. Well, I hope he has anyway. Yes, he has. He's fitted a set of softs, so whether that'll pay off, I don't know. We will stay on board with Foxy Dude for the time being. Actually, no, we're going to stay on board with this man. Black Phoenix, because apart from the starting few laps, no, I think he got into P1 at the start of the race, because one would drop down as well. Yeah, so from lap 1 he didn't lead into the first couple of corners, but this man has dominated the Baku Grand Prix. He's not necessarily been the outstanding on pace. Wama has been up there with him earlier in the race, also as Silas been up there earlier with him in the race, and Leon isn't looking too shabby as well, pace comparison. But it's not just about pace, it's about consistency, and Black Phoenix has delivered on every department here as Brettster picks up a 3-second time penalty for multiple warnings. But just going back to this man right here, as he comes through the castle section, very, very bumpy. He's got to be careful, because one slip up and you can end up like Wama. But he has been fantastic, superb, brilliant, and mesmerising throughout the entire Baku race, and he's got a comfortable lead back to Leon at the moment. I think Leon's got to be more concerned with Foxy Dude in his rear. Foxy Dude in his rear. I hope he's not in his rear, but on his rear. You know what? Behind him, okay? Behind him. Stop, you kids out there. All these innuendos. Stop. Right, behind him. But, you know, Black Phoenix, he's been untouchable apart from the first couple of laps. So, if it stays this way, congratulations to him, because even if he bends it now, I hope he doesn't, because he's driven superbly, but even if he bends it now, he has been fantastic. There's a few more laps remaining of the race. Precisely 4. As I take a well-deserved beverage after a long streaming session. Oh, I hope you can hear every gulp through my Astros down the commentary as well, because I needed that. But yeah, we're going to have a moment just to appreciate Black Phoenix, and also Leon. We're going to ride on board with Leon. He is getting caught. He is getting caught by Foxy Dude bit by bit, but I don't think he can pull the gap down to 1 second and get the DRS. I think Leon has got it covered if he doesn't make any mistakes. But just appreciation goes to Leon as well, because he has been one of the outstanding performers here in Baku. He's had a few wobbles here and there, back end just slipping out, as Foxy Dude does reduce that gap to just under 2 seconds. So we will stay on board with these two. But yeah, Leon's been very solid, and for the moment, not to curse him or anybody else out there, he hasn't done a Wama, and he hasn't done a Toxic Tomato, and he hasn't done a Pip Mat, and he hasn't done a Luke Green. So, you know, just keep it that way, please, Leon. We've got 14 viewers, I believe, at the moment, maybe even more, spectating you right now. So put on a show and don't make a fool of yourself. Just seeing some of the comments as the last stages of the race continue. Obviously a lot of comments saying Greeny in the points, QPR beasts. Not anymore. Yeah. It's a constant nightmare, Javi Oden. Skeven, regular service is resumed in F2. Stick it into me. Oh yeah, a little bit of kinkiness in the chat. Oogie says he'll stay. I hope you're still with us, Oogie. Yeah, we have got 12 viewers at the moment. I imagine F1 is heating up right now. This race has petered out. I think everybody's in their positions. We will see where penalties come into play. We do know, well, the one that sticks in my mind the most is obviously Leon with his big 5-second penalty. Whether that comes into play or not, whether it gets removed or not, I do not know. But they will come into play at the end of the race. enough about Wama. Greeny is out. Okay, for real, this track was only added so that F1 boys could watch an absolute disaster class. I think that's word of the day. Disaster class from Skeven there. I'm going to claim that, Skeven. I'll give you the credit. I'm going to claim that as a word of the day. Disaster class. I think it does have to be summed up. For the opening race, it is a very difficult technical track, as I've said before. But for the opening race of the season, you expect a bit more you know, reserved. You know, there's a lot of pent up, a lot of testosterone from these guys. A lot of people really revved up, a lot of juices flowing, you know, in the cockpits of these cars. A lot of sweat, you know, perspiring from the bodies. But I thought there'd be a bit of courtesy and a bit of a reservedness, as we're actually going to go down to pit Matt, who's on the back of Josh for the final couple of points. Let's see if he can make a move on Josh. Josh looks finished, even going through the fast left-right handers in the race, and I think pit Matt's going to make it very, very, very easy for himself. He's not even at the DRS board, and he's basically overtaken Josh. So we are going to go on board with Josh in the cockpit camp. Can he mount a defence? And with 5% ERS, I doubt he can even muster a pump, let alone a defence against pit Matt. It will still be a point for Josh because Samster is miles off. But pit Matt, very straightforward for him. We're just going to go on board with Wanmer as well. He's making very good progress. Onto the back of Praga. It is still going to be a solid 7th position for Wanmer, I do believe, in this race, if he can complete it. He is on the soft compound tyres. I do believe Praga is on the hards, so a 2 compound difference. Whether Wanmer can eke out the performance for the remaining 1.5 laps remains to be seen. I think Foxy Dude's given up on the charge on Leon as well. I think he's settling for 3rd position at the moment. So we are going to stay on board with Wanmer until the latter stages of the final lap, and then we will go on board with Black Phoenix. I will do a podium interview just to see if people want to join. Whether they do or not is entirely up to them. But let's just enjoy the final lap of the race and enjoy the spectacle that is Wanmer on the soft compound tyres, gaining 10th after 10th on Praga for a P6. So we'll give it to about the castle section, and then we will go on board with Black Phoenix to end us off here at the Azerbaijan Grand Prix. Not the most entertaining of races, it must be said. Wanmer just outside the DRS zone, which is unfortunate. We will try and catch him at the end of the race, see if he can make a move on Praga for P number 6. I did say we'd give it to the castle section, and we are there now. We are going to go on board with this man in the Toro Rosso as he rounds the final couple of corners. It takes 7 years to get to the end of this lap because the straight is so long, the longest straight in F1 history by kilometers. Correct me if I'm wrong, it may be Mexico, but I believe it is this one. But anyway, that's not what we care about. Black Phoenix takes the opening race here at Azerbaijan Baku and takes a lovely P number 1. Leon comes home P number 2, does get demoted to 3rd place as we see CC Brain cross the line and does pick up penalties. Whether they'll get removed or not, it remains to be seen. Silas comes home P number 5, and Wanmer is going neck and neck with Praga, and he's gonna get him on the line, but no! Penalties come into play. Wanmer tried to be the hero down the straight, the Valtteri Bottas to Lance Stroll, but he couldn't perform because of penalty issues. We're going to see Brett come home in a solid P8, and Pip Matt, he had it all in his hands. He had a top 5 finish on the cards, and unfortunately bottled it at the castle, but still comes home for a solid points haul of 2. And rounding off the top 10 is this man Josh. Has had more penalties than I've got hair follicles on my forehead. But yeah, he's done a solid drive, a point's a point, and he'll take it. Samster, don't know if Wanmer took the fastest lap, we will check, but Samster does come home in a measly P11. Yeah, sorry about that, guys. As you see, your top three, all the primary colours, blue, red and yellow, occupy the top steps of the Grand Prix. And Black Phoenix has been untouchable throughout this race. It's been entertaining in parts, not the best race I've ever commentated on. That goes to last season F2 around France. That was a fantastic race. But Black Phoenix is number one and your championship leader here in Baku. Congratulations to the likes of Foxy Dude and Leon. Whether the positions changed due to dodgy penalties, I will not know until the stewards and the race directors and all of that business gets sorted. But here is the top 10. We've got Black Phoenix, a fantastic win from him, the best of the bunch. Foxy Dude and Leon occupied the rest of the podium spots. Fantastic drives from both of them. Capitalised on mistakes made by others. CC Brain, another solid performance. P4, 5th. Silas, 6th. Praga, 7th. Wommer, disappointing from him. Bottle job. Brett, 8th. 9th. Pip Matt, 10th. Josh and Samster down there in P11. Everybody else I'm not going to mention because they are out and they do not deserve to be mentioned. But yeah, that has been the first round of the race. We will try and get people in for podium interviews. Whether they want to do it or not remains to be seen, but just bear with me 1 second. Oh, just going to see if any of these guys would like to join. I'll try and get somebody on either for podium interviews or some drivers in for some insight on how their race performances went. So just obviously bear with me, guys. I will try my hardest to get some insight from some of the drivers here at the moment, but just allowing people obviously to take a bit of a breather and digest obviously the performances they've had today. We have got Black Phoenix with us at the moment. We will get to you in a sec. Black Phoenix, just inviting some of the guys. If you've got the other guys on your friends list, drop them an invite, see if they want to join. Foxy Dude. If not, just try and grab anybody as you can. I just want to, for the first race, I just want a bit of a quick insight from a few drivers. Right, while we give some people some time, we obviously do have the race winner, the season opener in Baku, Black Phoenix. First of all, congratulations on P1. Fantastic drive from yourself. Just a bit of an insight from your perspective. Did it seem as easy as it looked from the start of the race? You led pretty much every lap from start to finish. Even the safety car didn't phase you. So just want your opinions on how your race went and how does it feel?
Well, it wasn't as easy as the start because when I've been practicing, it felt like my race pace was really bad. But today my quali pace wasn't as good, but my race pace was better. And I don't know if the safety car helped me or didn't help me, but that was a bit of a surprise for that to come out. But I was just able to keep out with DRS in the first few laps, and then it was just trying to not bottle it at the castle section, which was the only corner I was a bit nervy on. So it was a good race for me, and I think that was probably one of my best races ever had. So.
Yeah, I couldn't say it better myself. But you were on fire from start to finish. You know, a lot of people in the race really did struggle with the castle section. You've seen the likes of Wommer bin it, you've seen the likes of Pip Matt, who was in the solid P5 at the time, I do believe, been in it in the castle section. You know, just how just describe to the viewers out there who maybe aren't a part of league racing, just describe how difficult it is on worn tyres around the castle section.
Yeah, it's especially the first part really difficult, because obviously you got to pick your braking zone, and then it's more nerve-wracking in the castle section than anything. So at the end I was really going slow in the castle section, but in quali I should have just went for it in the castle section, but obviously that's a risk. So it's just a very risky corner. That's what I'm going to call it. It's a risky corner.
Yeah, like you say, I'm a bit of a pleb down in here in F4, so it's obviously nice to hear some insight from a quicker and more established driver like yourself. Obviously I will come back to you at the end, Black Phoenix, but we have got another man who really did surprise me out there. Little Leon, how are you, mate?
I'm alright, how are you?
Yeah, not too bad. It's a bit weird being in the commentary box on my own. Yeah, just describe, like I said to Black Phoenix, just describe the emotions. Obviously, I don't know if your penalty will be removed. I think a couple of drivers had a bit of that dodgy 5-second penalty. I'm not sure what's happening with that. But it was a P2 initially, a brilliant performance. You kept it out of the walls, but P3 in the end. So just describe how you're feeling, and just congrats as well.
Thanks. I didn't actually expect to get a podium. I thought I'd be down in the bottom, but I did actually hit the wall. It was right after Walmer. I got a bit distracted when he hit the wall, and hit the wall myself. So I had yellow wing damage for like the last 7 laps, which is a bit annoying. But that was the first time I hit the wall. That BS 5-second penalty, or I call it BS. I'll try and get it removed. But nonetheless, it is a podium. It does feel good. I've not been in F2 for a long time. Yeah, it's just, I don't know. I'm feeling happy that I didn't retire.
Yeah, I do agree. A lot of people did fall victim, especially to the castle section. But even regardless of the castle section, a lot of people, clumsy driving, I think, is the best way to describe it. The eagerness to get up the field and prove themselves, and it ended in calamity. But just obviously, congratulations, like I've said to you both before. But I just want your insight from your perspective, Leon. You had Wommer. You had Silas, if that's how you pronounce it. I probably butchered his name. Black Phoenix's teammate, the other Toro Rosso, and the likes of Foxy do pressuring you the entire race. How did you cope with the pressure?
I didn't have the greatest of starts. I think it was Silas or whatever his name is, had a really poor start, and I couldn't get past him because both the Toro Rossos were next to each other. And then I think it was Sam still launched it. And obviously, when the safety car came out, I wasn't expecting it, and obviously everyone dived in. Because it was 2 Toro Rossos and 2 Mercedes ahead of me, they double stacked. So that's why they dropped all the way down. Foxy did at the start, he got bogged down fighting with CC Brown, I think, behind. And I think I just had enough pace to make sure that Foxy wouldn't get in that DRS. And then with Wommer, I kept creeping in and out of the DRS. I was struggling in the final sector, and then I was able to get past him and he binned it.
Yeah, a lot of people just couldn't cope out there. You were one of the people who excelled. I haven't actually given my driver of the day, but I think it does have to go to Black Phoenix, because it was a fantastic performance from start to finish. He wasn't necessarily the out and out quickest driver out there, but the sheer consistency every lap was just brilliant to watch. I think unlucky to your teammate who got double stacked in the safety car pit stops. But last thing I will say to you, Leon, before I do move back to Black Phoenix, is how did the safety car affect your race? Did it help, or did it necessarily hinder your race? Because obviously it was a massive calamity for a lot of people, because obviously it bunched the field back up. I know Luke Green was on mediums trying to push through the pack, didn't work, and ended in tears for him. So how did it affect your race?
Actually went quite nicely, because at the end of lap 4 I made a silly mistake and lost the DRS to the top 4 in that train, and I felt the softs ripping away. So I'm actually glad with the safety car, because it brought me back in, and it also gave me 2 positions, so it was actually helpful.
Well, I'm glad it worked out for both of you. Obviously, Foxy couldn't be here with us tonight for whatever reason, so congratulations to him on a podium. Last thing I will say to you, Phoenix, what's the preparations for the next race?
What's the next race? Bahrain, isn't it?
Yeah, Bahrain.
Not really sure. I guess I'll just do the same what I did here, just practice a bit and just, just try to improve my qualifying, because Baku's a very tricky circuit, so obviously people don't make mistakes, but Bahrain's a bit of a, I wouldn't say simple track, but it's more of a simpler track, so I just have to, I'm not expecting to get like a podium there, so I'm just, as I was this race, aiming for points, but I was surprised I got the win, so that's my preparation for Bahrain.
Well, you've heard it here, everybody. Black Phoenix, your #1 race winner. You got Leon on a podium, whether it's second or third, we're not too sure yet until the penalties get decided. But congratulations to both these guys. Thank you for tuning in to F2, and thank you for joining me in the commentary box, guys. Take care.